we need to take a fresh look at our entire financial system, because our financial system failed to do some critically important things. It was too fragile, too unstable, didn't do a good enough job at protecting consumers and investors. We have an incredibly archaic, segmented, complex oversight regime across our system. Did not prevent huge amounts of risk from building up in pockets of the system that caused a lot of damage. And never should have let that happen as a country. And we're going to have to change a lot of aspects of the regulatory system to reduce the risk we have a crisis like this in the future. And part of that will be looking at the basic responsibilities of the supervisors and our regulators and that kind of, including the feds.
You have 2 children, not born at the New York Fed, presumably. The deficits over the next 10 years are expected to hit $11 trillion. How do you feel about saddling them with that debt?
Well, I think one of the things that makes this such a challenging time for the United States and for countries around the world is we face, again, this deep recession, damaged financial system, and our immediate imperative still is to get growth back on track. Nothing's possible without that. That requires us to do things that are expensive, that cost money. In the short term, we'll raise deficits. But they are necessary things to do to repair this damaged economy that we started with. And if we were to not do those things, then future deficits would be higher and growth would be lower. We'd have more damage to the productive capacity of the American economy. But at the same time we do that, we have to commit to Americans, to investors around the world, that we're going to be able to get back to living within our means when the crisis passed, when the recovery is established. And that's why the President in his budget laid out a very ambitious path to get our deficits down to a sustainable level over the medium term. And of course, we can't do that without the Congress. But it is absolutely essential we do that. Because if we don't do that, then there's a risk this recovery will be interrupted by higher interest rates. You'll see the government start to crowd out private investment, and that's something we have to work hard to avoid. And that's why, again, we need to bring those deficits down to a sustainable level reasonably quickly. First priority is get recovery back, but as we do that, we need to make sure that commitment is clear.